My family mocked me for living in a camper, then broke into my new house and tried to kick me out. I didn't always talk to myself this much. I mean, I probably did, but it used to be quieter, internal, normal people level. Now it's like my brain is a raccoon on Red Bull with a megaphone, narrating my life in real time, yelling hot takes while I'm just trying to exist, which is rude, honestly. I'd like some peace. I never get any. Anyway, this is how it starts. Me, sitting on the edge of a mattress that technically qualifies as furniture, but only because no one has legally challenged it yet, staring at a beige wall that smells like dust and bad decisions, thinking, wow, you really did it. You speedrun adulthood straight into chaos. And before you ask, yes, I know, I should be grateful. I am alive. I have a roof, sort of, temporarily, emotionally. That's a different landlord situation. I'm 30-something, single, no kids, no spouse. No tragic breakup arc either, which almost feels worse because at least then you get a storyline. I just exist. And apparently that's enough to piss people off, especially my family. God, my family. See my brother, let's call him Dan. He has 4 kids. 4. He started early, like still figuring out how taxes work early. First kid at 22, then another one basically immediately, then a couple more spaced out just enough to keep everyone exhausted forever. Olympic level reproduction, truly impressive. Gold medal in raw dogging, everyone loves him for it, everyone loves her too. His wife, I'll call her, Sil, because that's what my brain calls her when I'm trying not to scream. She's pretty, like annoyingly so, the kind of pretty that makes people excuse everything else, which is unfortunate because everything else is a lot. She has this talent, no, truly, it's a skill, where she can poke you, prod you, say just enough sideways garbage to make your eye twitch, and the second you react, boom, instant tears. Oscar-worthy. I've seen onions with less drama, and my parents eat it up, lap it up like it's premium content. They know how she is. They absolutely know. They just don't care, because she gave them grandbabies, and I gave them vibes, I guess. Growing up, Dan was the favorite, not subtle about it either. Like neon sign, fireworks, marching band spelling out, this one matters more. 3 years younger than me, but somehow always in charge. If he hit me, I was told to be the bigger person. If I defended myself, I was punished. If he flirted with my first girlfriend until she dumped me, that was boys being boys. When I was upset, I was too sensitive. When he laughed at my failures, it was just teasing. I learned early that silence was safer, and that silence tastes like swallowing glass. They even moved us away from extended family. Real subtle. Guys, because people were starting to notice. Nosy relatives asking questions. Why does Dan get everything? Why is she always in trouble? So boom, packed us up, moved a few hours away, problem solved, no witnesses. By the time I turned 18, they were practically vibrating with relief. I wasn't even done with high school when I left. Couch surfing sucked, but it sucked less than living there. They didn't come to my graduation, which hurt for about 5 minutes, then felt weirdly freeing. Like, oh, so this is how low the bar is. Fast forward, pandemic hits, life goes sideways. I lose my job, my roommate loses his, the condo I loved, too expensive, yes. Thank you, hindsight, becomes impossible. I sell most of my stuff. Downsize like I'm Marie Kondoing my entire existence. And this is where the camper comes in. I've always loved trucks. Don't ask me why. Something about them feels sturdy, reliable, like a personality trait I wish I had. I find a cheap camper, $1,000. Not glamorous, but solid. Slap it on the truck, boom. Mobile survival unit, temporary, I tell myself, just for a bit. I ask my parents if I can park it at their place. Just park it, not live inside. Just exist nearby. They laugh. They call it an eyesore. They say the house is full. They say we don't get along, which is a funny way of saying we treated you like crap and you noticed. They offer to let me stay only if I pay basically full apartment rent to park in a driveway. I'm unemployed. Dan laughs too. Calls me a bum. Points at the camper like it's a clown car. Still smirks. That smirk, God. If smirks were weapons, she'd be wanted by the UN. So I leave. First night, parked in a store lot, terrified someone's going to break in. Every sound feels like danger. I don't sleep. I just lie there, heart racing, thinking, this is my life now, congrats. The months blur together after that. Finding places to park, getting chased off, plugging extension cords into random outlets like a goblin stealing electricity. Yeah, it's sketchy, I know. Save your moral TED Talk. Desperate times. I deal with addicts, beggars, fake HOA enforcers threatening me like they're auditioning for Judge Judy. I move just to avoid escalation. I shower at a gym, use public bathrooms, get real familiar with which places don't mind if you linger. I finally get a job, different city, warehouse. My boss doesn't care that I basically live there. Lets me set the camper up in the back lot. Lets me plug in. Lets me work constantly. I become useful. On call. Reliable. Funny how that changes how people treat you. I make friends. Night security guard becomes my buddy. We talk about life at 2 a.m. like philosophers with bad posture. I survive. 2 years. Summers suck. Winters suck less. I learn things. I get promoted. Supervisor, salary, real money, stability. And that's when I decide, house. Not fancy. Manufactured, 3 bedrooms, 2 miles from work. I somehow get it under asking. I use almost all my savings. I don't care. It's mine. Mine. I back the camper into the yard like a retired soldier, just in case. And because I am an idiot, this is important, underline it, I post about it online. That's when the vultures smell blood. A few weeks later, they show up, unannounced. Parents, Dan, Sil, kids, all of them, like a cursed parade. I didn't give them my address. Still don't know how they found it. I try not to think about that too hard because it spirals. They walk in like they own the place, touching stuff, commenting, smiling that weird smile, talking about how much space there is, how it's too much for one person, how it's closer to Dan's job. Red flags. everywhere. My brain is screaming, abort mission. Dan pulls me aside. Everyone else conveniently leaves the room. Planned. Obviously planned. He starts talking like the decision's already made. How I should let them move in. How I can live in the camper. How there will be rules. Curfews, like he's my landlord. In my house. I don't even process it at first. I'm just staring at him thinking, is this real? Is this a prank? Where are the cameras? He doesn't offer rent. Not once. I start recording on my phone without thinking. Muscle memory. Survival instinct. He keeps talking, arms waving, selling the dream. Extending his hand like this is a business deal. And something snaps. I say no, not polite, not soft, loud, firm. No. He stumbles back like I shoved him with sound. I stand up. My hands are shaking, but I don't care. I tell him it's my house, that I bought it, that I'm not responsible for his life choices. He gets close. Too close. Says I don't deserve it. Says he needs it more. The laugh came out of me before I could stop. It loud, sharp, unhinged. The kind of laugh that says, I've crossed into a new emotional zip code and I'm not paying tolls anymore. Dan didn't like that. Men like him never do. They're used to laughter being directed at other people, not at their audacity. He stepped closer. Again, personal space? Never heard of her. His face was doing that tight, righteous thing, like he'd already decided I was the villain in his internal documentary. You know the one. Soft lighting, sad piano music, him as the misunderstood hero. You don't deserve this, he said. Slow, emphasized. Like it was a fact, carved into stone somewhere. I need it more. I remember thinking, very clearly, I should not say what I'm about to say, and then saying it anyway, because impulse control left my body sometime around age 12. Funny, I said, still smiling, because I'm the one whose name is on the mortgage. Silence. Heavy. The kind that buzzes in your ears. Somewhere in the house, one of his kids shrieked, because of course they did. That sound snapped the spell, and suddenly the room refilled with people like someone hit rewind on a crowd scene. My parents came back in first, then Syl. And she had that look, that oh good, drama look. The one where her eyes light up like she just got front row tickets to a meltdown. Dan immediately switched tones, instantly, like flipping a light switch. Victim mode activated. She won't help us, he announced to the room, like he was presenting evidence to a jury. She says we can't live here. I opened my mouth to speak, but my mother beat me to it. Of course she did. Now let's all calm down, she said. Already not calm. Already standing slightly in front of Dan like he was the crown prince of entitlement. This doesn't need to be a fight. Oh no, see that sentence? That sentence is gasoline. That sentence says we've decided you're the problem and now we're going to negotiate your compliance. I'm not fighting, I said. I'm saying no. Syl sighed, loudly, dramatically, rubbed her belly like she was trying to summon sympathy from the fetus directly. I just don't understand how you can be so selfish, she said. And there it was. The word selfish, her favorite. I swear to God, if selfishness burned calories, she'd be invisible by now. My father crossed his arms. The same stance he used when I was a kid, and he'd already decided I was wrong. Your brother has a family, he said. You have space. I looked around my house, the walls I chose, the floors I paid for. The couch I hadn't even bought yet, because apparently I was saving up for my brother's colonization project. I also have a spine, I said. New development. Very exciting. That's when the phrase started, the chant. The greatest hit. Just do it for Dan. My mom said it first. Then my dad, then Syl in that syrupy voice that made my skin crawl, like they were summoning a demon and the demon's name was guilt. Every time they said it, something old twisted inside me. Childhood stuff, the years of swallowing anger, the conditioning, I felt it trying to reassert control, like muscle memory. And then, this is important, I felt it fail. No, I said again, louder. Get out. That's when Syl lost her damn mind. She screamed, like full volume nails on glass screaming, about being pregnant, about how I was cruel, about how I was doing this to her. She stepped forward, hands raised, and for a split second my brain went, is she about to hit me? Surely not. That would be insane. She hit me. Open-handed, sharp. My cheek burned instantly. The sound echoed. For a second, no one moved. Even she looked surprised, like her body had betrayed her before her brain caught up. And then all hell broke loose. Dan grabbed her, shouting her name. The kids started crying. My mother screamed her name. My father shouted at me like I'd somehow orchestrated this. I raised my phone. My hand was shaking, but the camera was steady enough. I'm calling the cops, I said. Get out, now. That word, cops, changed the temperature immediately, like someone dumped ice water on the room. My mother's face went pale. Syl started sobbing, full collapse mode, like she'd just been wronged by the universe itself. You wouldn't, my mom said. It wasn't a question. It was disbelief. I absolutely would, I said. And I will press charges for assault if she doesn't leave. That did it. Retreat. My parents started herding everyone toward the door like a panicked fire drill. My mom threw one last line over her shoulder. You have a week to come to your senses. Like she was granting me a grace period before execution. I didn't answer. I just stood there. Phone still up, heart pounding, cheeks stinging, watching them leave my house like a plague with minivans. The second the door closed, I slid down the wall and laughed. Again, hysterical. Breathless, because what else do you do when your reality glitches like that? I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I went nuclear first. I posted everything. The story, the video. No names, but no mercy. Family group chats lit up like Christmas trees. Messages poured in, support, shock. A few, are you okay? Texts that made me unexpectedly emotional. I knew exactly why I did it. Because if I didn't control the narrative, they would. And they'd paint me as the monster. Preemptive strike. Survival tactic. Learned behavior. It worked. By the time my parents and Dan tried to spin it, it was too late. People already knew. Some relatives reached out privately and confirmed what I'd always suspected. They'd noticed. They just didn't know how bad it was. A week passed. Quiet. Suspiciously quiet. Then Friday happened. I came home from work and saw a moving truck in my driveway, and Dan's minivan. For a second, my brain refused to process it. Like, this is wrong footage. Someone messed up the timeline. Then Dan waved at me, smug, relaxed, like a man who thought he'd won. That's when the rage hit. Cold, focused, terrifyingly calm. I told them to stop, told them to get out. Sil smiled and said, hand to belly, head tilted, "It's okay. Mommy said we could." I locked myself in my truck and called 911. She started pounding on the window, screaming that I couldn't do this to her, threatened to key my truck, all of it on speaker. The operator heard everything. Cops came fast. Dan and Sil locked themselves inside my house. They drilled out my log. I stood there showing the cops my ID, my address, my proof, my videos. My parents showed up and lied, boldly, said I'd agreed to rent to them. Dan came out holding a fake lease, fake signature, bad fake. Like a middle school forgery? I laughed again. I couldn't help it. That's fraud, I said. Like really obvious fraud? That's when I told them everything. About the lock, the assault, the videos, CPS, lawsuits, jobs, consequences. Dan went white. My mom tried one last time. Just do it for Dan. And something in me finally snapped clean in half. If you think this is such a good idea, I said, loud enough for the cops to hear, why don't you give him your house and live in a camper? Silence. They backed down, slowly. Boxes went back out. Kids cried. Sil tantrumed on my lawn like a toddler in a Target aisle. One of the cops told her to pick up torn papers or get cited for littering, which honestly, chef's kiss. Dan threw the keys down a storm drain. Got scolded? Had to fish them out. Humiliation complete. Before they left, my mom said I'd be disowned. I laughed, again. Oh no, I said. I won't get treated like crap at holidays anymore. I told them everything I'd never said, in front of cops, about favoritism, abuse, neglect, the camper, the rent gouging, the hypocrisy. They had no answers. They left. And when the door finally closed for real this time, my house felt quiet in a way I'd never experienced before. You'd think after the cops, the forged lease, the lawn tantrum, and my mother crying like she just lost a soap opera audition, things would calm down. Like the universe would go, all right, that's enough character development for one person, and let me live quietly with my mismatched furniture and unresolved trauma. Nope, absolutely not. That would be too merciful. What actually happened was quieter, which somehow made it worse. The kind of quiet where you keep checking your phone because you know something's coming, like when a storm pauses just long enough for you to think it's over before it rips a tree out of the ground and throws it through your neighbor's Prius. The first thing that happened was social media, because of course it was. I'd already locked my profiles down after the driveway invasion fiasco, but that doesn't stop people from subtweeting their entire personality. Sil, in particular, suddenly discovered the art of vague posting. You know the type. No names, no context, just enough martyr energy to bait comments. Stuff like, some people don't understand what it's like to be a real parent. Or, it's funny how some people get everything handed to them and still complain. Every time I saw one, my eye twitched so hard I thought it might achieve sentience and walk off my face. I should have blocked her. I know that. I absolutely know that. But there's a part of me, let's call her the goblin, that wants to observe. Not engage, just watch the train derail in slow motion, for science. And also because it was kind of validating to see her unravel without me doing anything. Like, wow, look at you spiraling all on your own. I love this journey for you. Meanwhile, my parents went radio silent. No calls, no texts, which was new. Usually after a blow-up, there'd be some half-assed attempt at reconciliation that somehow still blamed me. This time, nothing. That silence felt suspicious. I focused on my life instead, which felt weird, like wearing shoes that actually fit after years of blisters. I bought furniture, normal stuff, a couch that didn't come from someone's basement, plates that matched. I hosted poker night with friends, even though I still don't understand poker, and I'm convinced everyone else is lying about understanding it too. The camper just sat in the yard. Sometimes I'd go out there with a beer and sit on the little dinette, like visiting an old friend. It smelled the same. Dust and coffee and survival. I hated that I was nostalgic for it. I loved that I didn't need it anymore. Then December crept up, and with it, Christmas. Here's the thing about holidays when you've got family trauma. They're like emotional landmines wrapped in tinsel. Everyone else sees lights and food and music. You see unresolved conflict and passive aggression shaped like a turkey. I hadn't planned on hosting anything. I really hadn't. But after everything that went down, relatives started reaching out, checking in, asking how I was doing, saying things like, "We had no idea," which I both appreciated and resented because of course you didn't. I was trained to shut up. Somewhere in a moment of reckless optimism, or maybe spite, I invited a chunk of the family over for Christmas Eve. Not everyone, just the ones who'd been solid, who'd shown up for me after the chaos. I didn't invite my parents, or Dan, or Sil. I knew that decision would come back to haunt me. I just didn't know how yet. Christmas Eve was good, shockingly good. People drove hours, complimented the house, told me they were proud of me, like actually proud. I didn't know where to put that feeling. It rattled around in my chest like loose change. We drank, we ate. Someone brought old Christmas albums on CDs, and my uncle put on Ray Charles singing Christmas songs, which I was not emotionally prepared for. That man could sing the phone book and I'd cry. cry. For a few hours, I forgot everything. I forgot my parents. I forgot the driveway. I forgot the lock drilled out like my boundaries had been. I was just there, laughing, existing, hosting, and then the front door opened. No knock, just opened. The music stopped. Literally, like a movie. Everyone turned. My parents stood there. Dan, Sil, the kids, smiling like they belonged. I felt my stomach drop through the floor. My brain immediately started screaming, "Why are you like this? Why would you do this? This is a bad idea. Turn around, go home, go literally anywhere else." I stood up so fast my chair scraped loudly across the floor. "No," I said, "just that." "No, leave now." My mother stepped forward. "We just want to talk," she said, already teary. "It's Christmas." That's when my uncle, my mom's brother, stood up. And bless that man. Truly. "You have some nerve," he said. Loud, clear. "After what you tried to pull, you think you're welcome here?" Others backed him up. Voices overlapping. Disbelief, anger. People who'd been quiet for years, suddenly very done. My grandparents spoke up too, which hit harder than anything. They were disappointed in my parents. Said so out loud, in front of everyone. Said it was too soon. That trust doesn't magically reappear because it's a holiday. Sil lost it. Of course she did. She dropped into a chair like her legs gave out. Started crying about fairness, about space, about how she should be the one living here, about how I didn't need this house because I didn't have a family. I should not have said what I said next. I absolutely should not have. But the goblin was driving. "You don't parent your own kids," I said. Calm, too calm. "My mother does. You drink, scroll, and complain. If you want a better life, maybe start participating in the one you have." The room went silent. Her kids started crying. The baby cried. Dan looked like someone had unplugged him emotionally. My mother gasped like I'd committed a felony. Someone shot me a look like, damn, that was harsh. And yeah, it was, but also true. Sil demanded to know if I was calling her a bad mom. "I'm saying the evidence speaks for itself," I said, "and maybe get a job. You have a degree." That set off a chain reaction. Relatives jumped in, not yelling exactly. More like a collective enough. Years of pent-up frustration coming out sideways. Dan sat down, wouldn't look at anyone, didn't say a word. He looked small, smaller than I'd ever seen him. For the first time, he couldn't bulldoze. There were too many witnesses. Too many people who weren't buying the Golden Child Act anymore. Eventually, they left, defeated, quiet. The door closed. The room exhaled. The party resumed awkwardly at first, then warmer. People stayed over. Some slept in the camper, which was kind of hilarious and kind of poetic. I woke up early, Christmas morning, and made coffee and set out ibuprofen like a seasoned host. More compliments, more support. Someone told me I was a better host than my parents ever were. I laughed, but it stuck with me. After that, the posts stopped. For a while. Then after the new year, Sil tried one last thing. Posted about convincing my parents to get a camper so they could live in the backyard and give Dan the house. The irony nearly killed me. My parents shut it down immediately. Apparently now they understand boundaries. The post disappeared. And then nothing. Silence. And you know what? I think that was the real consequence. Not cops, not humiliation, not family backlash. I'd catch myself replaying conversations that hadn't happened yet. Imaginary arguments. Imaginary confrontations. Imaginary versions of me who said the perfect thing at the perfect time and walked away in slow motion while something exploded behind them. Very cinematic. Zero utility. Sometimes I'd be brushing my teeth and my brain would go, "You should have said," and I'd literally have to stop and spit and go, "No, we are not doing this at 7:42 a.m. Healing is so stupid like that. Nobody tells you how annoying it is. On paper, my life looked fine. Good even. I had a house. A job I didn't hate. Friends who came over for poker nights and didn't judge me for Googling. What beats what in poker? Every single time like it was my first day on Earth, I had routines, groceries, a favorite mug, but emotionally, I was still pacing like a dog that didn't realize the gate was open. I kept expecting my parents to show up, or Dan to try something slick, or Sil to reappear like a jump scare in a horror movie. Belly first, crying about fairness. Every unfamiliar car slowed me down. Every knock, real or imagined, made my chest tighten. I installed cameras, changed locks, twice. Not because anything happened, because I needed to sleep. And eventually, slowly, annoyingly, I did. The camper became this weird emotional artifact, like a museum exhibit for a version of myself I barely recognized anymore. Sometimes I'd sit out there with a beer, door open, just staring at the yard. The quiet, the fact that no one could tell me to leave. I hated how much it mattered to me. I loved that it did. There were days I missed it, which feels ungrateful and dramatic and possibly unhinged. But hear me out. The camper was simple, brutal, honest. You wake up cold, hot, cramped, uncomfortable, but you know why. There's no ambiguity, no emotional fine print. The house was possibility. And that scared the hell out of me, because possibility means choices. And choices mean you can mess things up all by yourself without anyone else to blame. I started noticing little changes, subtle stuff. I stopped apologizing automatically, like actually stopped. I caught myself once, sorry, and went, nope, not sorry, out loud, to no one, in my kitchen. Progress is weird. I stopped over-explaining too. That one took longer. Turns out when you grow up constantly defending your right to exist, you narrate everything like you're on trial. I had to consciously shut that down. People didn't need my backstory. They weren't the jury. The biggest shift came when I realized I wasn't angry all the time anymore. Still sarcastic, still bitter in a seasoned way, but not vibrating with resentment, not carrying it around like a live wire. That scared me too, because anger had been armor. If I wasn't angry, then what was protecting me? Turns out boundaries? Who knew? Revolutionary concept. 10 out of 10. then would recommend. I didn't reach out to my parents. They didn't reach out to me. And for once, that felt mutual instead of punitive. Like we'd both silently agreed that distance was the only thing preventing further damage. I heard through the grapevine, because of course I did, that Dan and Sil were still living with them, that nothing had improved, that the house was chaos, that my mother was exhausted, that Sil was miserable, that Dan was quieter now. I felt nothing, and that was the real revenge. Not gloating, not satisfaction, just absent. Emotional vacancy, like they'd finally exhausted whatever claim they thought they had on me. There was a moment, late winter, where I caught myself smiling while doing laundry. Just smiling. No reason, no punchline, no sarcasm. It freaked me out so bad I almost checked for carbon monoxide. I started thinking about dating. Casually, hypothetically, the way you think about going to the gym. I could one day, probably, maybe. I wasn't lonely exactly, but I was open, which felt new. I realized I didn't want someone to save me, or fix me, or validate my trauma résumé. I just wanted someone who didn't feel like work. Someone who didn't see kindness as weakness or boundaries as personal attacks. Bare minimum stuff, apparently rare. Sometimes I imagined telling this whole story on a date and immediately wanted to crawl under the table and die. Trauma dumping is not a personality. Learned that one the hard way. So I practiced saying less, letting silence exist. Trusting that not everything needed context or justification. It was hard, still is. One night, sitting on the porch, watching the sky do that orange-purple thing it does when it's about to get dark, I had this thought, I'm safe. And then immediately, don't jinx it, idiot, but the thought stayed. I didn't need to be on guard. I didn't need to anticipate. I didn't need to brace for impact. For the first time, my life wasn't something I was surviving. It was just happening.